All you Nightmare nerds, and welcome to this week's episode of the Nightmare Network podcast. We are doing some franchise frights, and we are talking about the ever-popular Zeitgeistian meta-horror series, Scream. This is a series that, as you know, has been out for almost 25 years now. It has seen many different iterations from the original trilogy to reboots to remakes to reimaginings, and I think we're going to have a very interesting conversation here today, talking about kind of how they all mesh together and how we feel individually about the franchise and maybe where it's heading, how it started, and things of the sort. But before we get into that, guys, I am looking at the Killian Locke right now, and oh my God, he is so freaking handsome. It's like unbelievable. I'm blushing a little bit. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. So
I'm better now that I get to see your beautiful face.
Well, we are just. Should we only talk? This should be a podcast about each other's faces. Really, is what I think. We could do this every week, and like one episode could be just about your eyes. You know?
I love the idea of this slowly becoming a friends to lovers podcast.
Nicole, my ex-girlfriend, she wouldn't even be mad about it because she really, really loves male romance. So I feel like she would just be about it. She'd be like, you know what? We had something special for sure. We may have had a future, but far be it from me to stand between you and your beautiful, beautiful bear on bear romance that we have.
Bear on bear romance. Yeah, it'll be Brother Bear.
Brother Bear. Okay, that is a whole other very taboo set of just things that we're gonna go ahead and move on from this. So, Killian, I also hear that you're working on some really cool stuff, and you were working on some things last week, which is why we didn't get to pod. So, do you want to plug that real quick and let us know what you're working on?
I'm being a monster, and I had gum in my mouth while we're recording a podcast. What the hell is wrong with me?
I don't know. You're insane.
My production company, Human Pincushion Productions, we are making our first feature film.
Awesome.
And, yeah.
I knew this, but what? That's insane. This is such a surprise.
I'm really excited about it. And it's a story that's actually really near and dear to me. Because I have been working on the story since, I think I was working on the story all the way back in 2017.
Wow.
And so I'm personally very excited about this movie, about this story. Also because it's our first feature. But we just went back and did pickups and reshoots. And I'm really excited about that.
When do you think during the runtime of this feature you will be able to experience my full frontal scene?
I am ready and willing to experience your full frontal scene.
That's probably the full 90-minute runtime, right? It's that kind of movie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's certainly that kind of movie. It is a gay fuck book of a movie.
God damn it. Again, that's the greatest story ever told. So, all right. Anyway, let's before this turns into a faculty podcast, because we tend to do that. We tend to do this, I guess, to Kevin Williamson intellectual properties. So let's dive right in. So in good fashion, I want to talk about Scream, as a franchise, while also getting into little bitty details a little bit, but really overall how we feel about it and where we think it's going, and how we think it's going. So, but first, let's jump in. Let's talk about how do you remember first experiencing Scream?
Okay, so I was told about Scream by my mother when I was younger, in much in the same way that I was told about The Faculty and I think also Urban Legend.
Your mom sounds so sick.
My mom's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how I was told about Scream. And then I watched it with my aunt Shauna, who was babysitting me. We did a thing where frequently she would babysit me, and then every time we would go up to our Family Dollar or Family Video and get horror movies. And we rented Scream, and I watched it and I loved it. And then really quick fun side bit, I was like 11 and I was walking through the living room, and my mom was watching Scream, and she was like, "Oh, you don't want to look at the screen right now because it's really scary." And this is how my mom found out I had been watching horror movies, because I, being 11, just was like, "Oh, it's fine. I've seen this part before. It's really cool." And
That's
she was
sick.
like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I love this movie." And she looked at me. She goes, "You what now?" And I was like,
Do you remember, like, what scene was it? Do you remember?
I think it was actually just the beginning of the movie. I think it was the Casey scene.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, which again, incredible sequence. So before we jump into that, like, beginnings, for me, it's kind of a similar story to like how I experienced a lot of other stuff. In that I was the youngest of 5 in my family, and my older sister is 9 years older than me. So when I was around 8-9 years old when this movie came out, she was 17, 18, which means that she was the generation, right, that was being zeitgeisted in this movie, right? Like she was the target audience for this movie. Like when she watched this, she's like, "Oh, I'm in high school. I'm seeing this projected onto myself." Even though this is very, along with The Faculty kind of being like, we are given these kind of different stereotypes of teenagers, but this is the kind of movie that was directed towards her. So I, of course, snuck downstairs to watch it when they rented this on VHS, and like, slashers never really scared me. I don't think I've always, and to this day, like, much more scared about with paranormal kind of stuff and like found footage like that. That's my meat and potatoes. And I like slashers, but I do remember watching Scream at a young, impressionable age, and there was something about the way people were dying in the movie that really affected me. And I think that has to do, obviously, with Wes Craven and like how he's showing things, but like the one that sticks out in my head is the boyfriend in the very beginning when he is tied to the chair, and the lights dim and you don't see what happens, but when they come back up, you see that he's gutted, right? And that
yes.
he's dead in the chair. And that had such a huge effect on me. And then later on, when I became a film school nerd, I read Andre Bazin and him telling us that like, oh, when you don't see something in film, that's when it becomes more real because your mind is able to create it itself. And then I was like, well, that's what must be what's happening. So like kills like that really, really messed me up. Like the boyfriend specifically, I remember being very, very disturbed about that. And then I think the cool thing about this movie is that the kills are pretty creative throughout. I remember in the second Scream being really affected by the knife through the
restroom door.
The restroom door. Yeah, that scene messed me up too. Watching that, I remember that.
Yeah. I think out of most of the series, some of the kills that affected me the most, Rose McGowan's death.
Yep.
In the first one, mostly because even at a young age, I was watching it and I was like, "This is bullshit." Because I was like, "There's no way that," because I grew up with an automatic door for a garage, and if you put just even a little bit of weight on that thing, it will stop and come back down. So I was like, "There's no way."
Yep. For a second, I thought you were going like, "Oh man," because I was like, "That Rose McGowan." She's quite the looker. I will give you that.
I think at the time that I watched it at 11, I didn't care that much about the fact that Rose McGowan was a smoke show.
Oh, man. I still to this day have a little Rose McGowan crush. She is quite beautiful. And when she joined Charmed, because I was on the Charmed bandwagon for a little bit because my sisters watched it. Oh, man. Just, whew, that was a show for a second.
Neve Campbell is way more my type, though.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Sydney Prescott is my second favorite final girl of all time.
Who is your first?
Laurie Strode.
Sorry, that was a dumb question.
Laurie Strode is my favorite, but Sydney Prescott is a very close second. And I think if I had to know a final girl, Sydney Prescott is the one that I would choose because she is the most fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, Rose McGowan's death, obviously Casey Becker's death.
Yep. Oh no, but she might be alive now. Didn't you hear? Didn't you hear from Twitter?
My favorite thing about that whole dumb shit thing is that she tweeted that, and then I think somebody responded. They were like, in all of movie history,
yes,
there's only a handful of people who are as dead as Casey Becker.
Dude, it's so good. Like,
it's so good. There are very few people who are as dead as your character is dead.
Scream 7 comes along, and like she's the killer now, and we're all just like, you know what? We're done. We're checked out.
If she comes back, I'm walking out of the theater. That's it.
That's unforgivable. That's like, you can't do that. Sorry, Drew Barrymore, but you can't do that.
Drew Barrymore is a lovely human being, and I would love to meet her, but Casey Becker is very, very dead.
Yeah, she's very dead. So the cool thing about Scream, and what I think is interesting to see as it's like growing or moving along, I guess, is that you have these kind of different iterations of what it's trying to do in terms of like meta writing for horror. And so Scream came out, right? And, there's the story that they wanted to call it just Scary Movie because they wanted it to be like, this kind of in depth, like the characters knowing what's going to happen in a scary movie as they're living through a scary movie, right? So they have... Yeah. So... in and of itself, like that's Scream 1, and then Scream 2 becomes about sequels, right? Like they take that approach and then they kind of they slap the sequel thing on it, and then it turns into Scream 3, and then it's like a trilogy. So it becomes a spoof. I think like Scream 3 is like borderline spoof of like what horror trilogy, not even horror trilogies, but just like trilogies in general can become.
I don't disagree. Also, Scream 3 is my least favorite out of all of the Scream movies, but I don't think that is a hot take.
It's certainly not. However, there's one thing that Scream 3 does that I still to this day appreciate, and it's the one character, and of course he's the token black character. He gets stabbed towards the end of the movie, and he does two things that I have never seen in a horror movie. Number one, he runs down the stairs instead of up the stairs towards the exit. And number two, he's screaming, "Help, police," the entire time. And I remember watching that like as it was happening and thinking like, wow, this guy like really wants to survive this horror movie as opposed to other people.
There's
still enough self-awareness in 3 for it to be fun, but I think that like even like Scream 2 is really kind of playing on the quirkiness of like, this is a sequel, right? But there are certain scenes in that movie that are really, really is it a recording booth or something? That's the third one. Dewey gets stabbed. Up. Yeah, Dewey gets stabbed behind the glass, and you see the blood come out through the glass, right? Yeah, but Scream 3, I just feel like lacks a lot of that, and it doesn't. it feels like a spoof. Like where the other ones maybe lean towards satire, this feels more like a spoof, and that's why I feel like it's not as successful.
Well, I mean, Jay and Silent Bob show up in Scream 3, and I think that's all that you really need to say about Scream 3 being a spoof is that Jay and Silent Bob show up in it. Listen, I love Kevin Smith.
You took. I was going to say that's not a bad thing in general. No. But maybe not for your Scream horror movie. Like, like I love seeing them in things. It makes me very happy. It makes my ex-girlfriend very happy. I think I told you, I don't know if I told you, but we're going to, again, dive off topic a little bit here. So Clerks 3 came out last year, right? And I really wanted to see it. But Nicole had never seen any Kevin Smith movie. Like, she didn't know who he was. So... Okay. So I was like, well, all right, let's watch Clerks 1 and 2, and if you like it, we can go see 3. And so we watched Clerks 1 and 2, and certain things of Clerks 1 don't age very well. I think that's just, I don't think it's from, like, malicious intent from Kevin Smith, because he seems like a pretty woke kind of dude. And it's interesting to, like, even though his stories or his films are all framed through a male lens, you do have characters like in Chasing Amy, her name is not Amy, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but where her whole emotional arc is that she refuses to conform to like the male agency that's trying to be put over her by her piece of shit boyfriend who is Ben Affleck, right? And so like that part of the movie is cool, even though but certain things with Clerks don't age well. But however, Nicole saw Clerks and Clerks 2 and lost her shit over Jay and Silent Bob. They are now her favorite things. After that, she was like, well, what else do we have to watch? So we watched Dogma, Chasing Amy, Mallrats. She's now obsessed with Jay and Silent Bob. For Christmas, I went to the Secret Stash up in Red Bank, and I got her like a Secret Stash t-shirt. And And because of that, we ended up on this like mailing list of the Secret Stash, and we got a email about like they're doing like a cruise askew type thing, which is like a cruise with Jay and Silent Bob on it. And if you booked early, you had a guaranteed meet and greet with Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes. And so I showed Nicole this. I was like, haha, look what they're doing, thinking it was a joke. And she locked eyes with me and was like, we're going. So in 6 months, she has turned into this crazy Kevin Smith superfan, which I think is really interesting. But she saw Scream 3 before this. And she likes the Scream movies. So I feel like she needs to revisit this one specifically to really get a huge appreciation about what's going on with Kevin Smith and Scream 3, even though we agree that is not the time and place for him. Just saying.
No, that's really just my take on it. Like, I mean, Scream 3 isn't overtly awful. It's just not, it's the least out of all of them. Okay, quick question. What is your ranking of the Scream movies?
All six of them? All six of them? I mean, I'm sorry, but I think everybody can agree Scream 1 is the best. Mm-hmm. This is tough.
I mean, if it helps, I can do my ranking while you think of yours.
You go first if you're ready to go.
All right, Scream 1.
Okay.
Then after Scream 1, I would probably give it either to Scream 2 or Scream 4.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting.
And whichever one is not my number 2 is my number 3.
Okay.
Then Scream 6, then Scream 5, then Scream 3.
Wow, okay. Do you not like Scream 5, or is it just you like the other one so much more that it gets a little...
I was really underwhelmed with Scream 5, and everybody talked about how much they loved it, but all the things that they said that they loved about it, it didn't actually do.
I kind of agree. So here, I guess here would be mine. Scream 1's probably my favorite. Honestly, Scream 6 might be number 2. I very much enjoyed Scream 6, and that might also have to do with the fact that I love Melissa Barrera, and she can be in any movie she wants to be in, and I will go see it. I think she makes
Melissa Barrera.
She's the new girl, the main character. The new
Sam?
Sam, yeah, she's Sam.
Oh, she's awful in 5.
Well, okay, for sure, but I like her I like her a lot. She's in The Heights, so I love her.
She's much better in Scream 6 than she is in Scream 5.
I agree. And so, but okay, so I would probably do those two. I really like Scream 6. Then I'd go 2. Then I'd go 4. Then I might go 5, and then 3. And I don't want to put 4 last. It's just that I think 4 is so weird, and I don't know where to put it. I don't know if you feel that way. It's a very odd movie to me.
I think 4 is more Scream than Scream 3 and Scream 5.
I can get behind that, but there's also like there's something about Scream 4 feels really like polished to me. Like I think we talked about this before. Like I feel like it is a Hollywood Horror Factory kind of horror movie.
Oh, that's actually, I felt that way about 3, but I don't feel that way about 4. The thing that I hate the most about 4 is 4 has this like weird look to it where everything is very like actually glossy.
Yes,
and
glossy,
I hate the way that it looks for like 3/4 of the movie. I'm like, this is weird. Why is everything bloomy?
Yeah, it looks like weird polish. It's like it's like they buffered the actual movie itself.
Yeah,
and I think
I don't like that.
I think that was a reflection. Like I feel like a lot of movies look like that around like the early 2010s. Like we got really obsessed with what digital could do like really quickly versus like film. So I think like that's probably peak time where like Alexas were starting to come out too. So I think like, or I might be predating myself, but maybe not. But I think that's kind of a reflection of that. And that, but also the weird thing about 4 is that, so 4, like if the first 3 movies were about like, like horror movie sequels, trilogies, the 4th one tries to like make itself one again, but for a new kind kind of horror movie.
Well, but that is the whole point of that movie, is that sequels are out and remakes are in.
Sure, it is. And I get that, but I also don't, I feel like they simultaneously don't do enough of it. Like I remember watching a trailer for that movie and them making like at least one trailer they were making a big deal about like them setting up different kinds of cameras to like catch the action as it's happened, like it's a found footage movie, right? Because that was like really popular at the time. But they only do it for like a scene, and I feel like, man, that would have been an interesting approach to a Scream movie. Is like for a significant portion of it, they dedicated it to like. Like a found footage. I'm not saying like we're holding phones and stuff, but like they put cameras around. So like what if they locked him in a school and they were in the security system and that's how you were viewing the movie for like a little bit or something like that? I feel like Scream 4 didn't commit enough to its meta shtick, if that makes sense.
I don't necessarily disagree. I will say something that I just had the realization of, and I want to see what your reaction to it is.
Okay.
Scream 4 is a better Scream 5 than Scream 5.
I feel like if you put them together and took the best parts of each, you'd
have a great Scream movie.
You'd have a great Scream movie. Because I enjoyed Scream 5. I think it's kind of weird that you say that now, because I think the end of Scream 5 was really what they wanted to do with Scream 4's ending. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, this is the same fucking ending. Like they end kind of the same way.
So the reason that I say Scream 4 is a better Scream 5 than Scream 5 is because in Scream 4 we have this really interesting thing about how they're trying to do... Sorry, give me a second. There's somebody on a fucking loud-ass motorcycle.
Nice.
They're just at the light.
Motorcycles should not exist.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree. I just don't think that you should have them in a city.
Do they need to be that loud? Like, I mean, like operationally, like, do they need to be that loud?
So I think what makes them that loud is that there is nothing to buffer the sound of the engine. It is just the engine's just out.
That's fair. Listen, I don't know anything about them. Like my knowledge of cars is that I get in mine and it takes me to where I need to go.
Yeah.
But like, man, I just don't like motorcycles. I'm sorry, motorcycle people. But like,
all right, sorry, they left, so I'm back.
All right, anyway, so let's get back to the Scream talk.
So
that's making it in the podcast, by the way.
Okay, Scream 4 or Scream 5 is all about the requel.
Yes.
And Scream 4 is a requel.
Yeah, yes.
Scream 4 is not a reboot, it is a requel, straight up.
Yep.
Or it's not like a remake, it's a requel. And so I think with the general consent of what Scream 5 is trying to do, Scream 4 is more effective at doing that exact thing.
That's fair. I hear that. Sorry,
I don't know about you. I like the new cast of characters better in Scream 4 than I like them in Scream 5. Because you spend more time with them. You actually get a chance to like hear them talk and like hang out.
Yeah.
And they have actual characters
which I think they did a way better job with in Scream 6.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is pretty interesting. I'd say, so I think we're onto something here where you could combine 4 and 5 and make a way significantly better movie. Because
make a near perfect Scream movie.
Make a near perfect Scream movie. Because one thing I really hate in Scream 4 is how it starts. It's just like it feels like I'm watching Tropic Thunder and I'm watching all of these fake trailers before it and stuff. Which Tropic Thunder, great. Scream, it feels like they're making a joke of it themselves. Like, it doesn't feel real to me. Like, it's like at that point when I'm watching all of these people make like fake stab movies, like I don't buy into the reality of Scream anymore, if that makes sense.
Well,
so
they suffer from the scary movie syndrome.
Yeah.
Like Scary Movie in all of their movies, I believe, start with a take on that.
Yeah.
And so we had gotten to the fourth part of a series where there was another series that was also rooted in the original Scream that is following the same format, and like it had just heightened to the point where it clearly got ridiculous. And then I think, admittedly, with Scream 5 and Scream 6, they realized that they had to just abandon that entirely.
Right. So Scary Movie 1, great time. Scary Movie 2, still kind of a great time, but definitely dropping off on quality. Scary Movie 3, that's where you kind of like, if the shark was not already jumped, it's way behind you by now. You know what movie's awesome? And by awesome, I mean awful, but awesome. Shriek, If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th.
Shriek, If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th is my preferred scary movie.
Same. Dude, it kind of rips. And yeah.
Hot take, I don't like Scary Movie 1. I don't like almost any of the scary movies. They're not my shtick. And I don't think that they're bad, I just don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine. You know, I think 1 did the job that it set out to do, which was, at least partially, which like the Wayans brothers taking like, you know, a black culture approach to these kind of horror movies and spoofing it that way, which I think is genius. But then it gets to a point, like I said, where it gets to 3, and then you have like you have Anna Faris like still carrying the load and everything, and now it's made by like weird, like Jerry Zucker and shit like that, like weird white people, and then it gets like the whole commentary is off, and it's like they don't really understand why it was fun in the first place. But man, so there's this new movie coming out. Have you seen the trailer for it's like the Blackening? Have you seen the trailer for that?
The one where it's like we can't all die first.
Yes, dude, that looks incredible and super genius, and I am very white, and I don't know if I'm allowed to go see it, but I really want to.
I mean, of course you're allowed to go see it.
I know,
you
for
just
sure.
couldn't make that movie.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Couldn't make that movie because number one, obviously, like fuck yeah, give like black storytellers like the chance to spoof the shit out of stupid white people horror movies. Like that idea itself is incredible to me, and like I want to support that any way that I can. So I'm allowed to go see it. We've decided. That's cool.
It does look incredible. I also am really excited about was it the little black girl and the monster?
Oh, I haven't seen anything for that. What's that?
It's a little girl who I think grows up in the projects, loses her brother to gang violence.
Ooh, Jesus.
And
the angry black girl and her monster. Okay.
The angry black girl and her monster, yeah. And she, like, Dr. Frankenstein's him back to life.
So, Scream, the original trilogy comes, 4 comes along, and we have a little bit of mixed feelings about it, I think we can safely say. 5 as well, and then maybe if we shoehorn them together in some weird kind of blender, we would come out with a perfect Scream movie. But then 6 comes along, and that was both pretty high on our lists. So how do you feel about the new Scream, and what did you like about it?
The new Scream?
Yeah, the Scream 6.
Okay. I loved how it felt very much like in this Scream, Ghostface wasn't fucking around.
Yes, that was very, very refreshing.
And even though I don't think anybody in the main cast bites it, they were able to give us enough ancillary characters, or a couple ancillary characters to bite it over the course of the movie, which was really nice.
Yep.
I think we could have dealt with a few more, if I'm going to be honest. I think we could have used a couple more deaths.
That's fair, especially with 3 killers running around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, the brother who got, like, just absolutely, like, he's the guy who's the new Dewey.
Yeah.
Isn't he Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son?
He is, yes.
Yeah.
And then
he's
other,
very clearly the new Dewey.
Yeah, and his sister in the movie is from Yellow Jackets, too.
Yes.
She's great.
She's incredible. She's actually my favorite new character. The thing that I didn't like about this new movie is that they made a big deal about bringing Kirby back, and then she just wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, actually, so I love Hayden Panettiere because if I married her, her name would be Hayden, number 1. So Hayden, if you're listening, it's a great name. That's all I'm saying. But also, like, I really liked her character in Scream 4. She was probably my favorite part of Scream 4. And then they made this whole thing like, oh my God, she's coming back. And then they brought her in, and she was barely in it. But also, when she was in it, felt like a weird taste in my mouth. I'm not gonna lie. It felt off when she was there. It felt like she was a character from another franchise that popped in Scream 6. I don't know if you felt that way.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, it feels off because it feels like I'm telling you, 4 exists in its own little pocket universe. It is the Terminator Genesis of the Screams. Like, it exists in its own little pocket universe. It shouldn't exist. I'm being hard on 4. I get that. Like, I'm fine that it exists, but like it feels like it's its own thing. And that it shouldn't relate to other movies that much. And I'm glad that Kirby's alive because I liked her in Scream 4. She was my favorite part. I don't think that she had a place in this movie, especially if you were going to utilize her like that.
Fair. I hate that they brought her in and they were like, she's going to be a big deal. She's here now. And she's not in the movie. And the only thing that she serves to do is show up and tell the audience that they're not going to get Matthew Lillard back.
Oh. Yeah, like, come on. Like, what the hell? Come on. Like, her entire existence is just to bum us out. They're like, listen, I know everybody here is really excited for maybe Stu to be here.
Stu might come back, but Stu Ermacher is dead ski.
Well,
and
dude,
it's like...
There were leaks. Like, I didn't see them, so I'm sure you saw this, but there were leaks on Twitter and the the internet in general about who the killers were going to be in the new Scream. And I purposely didn't look or do any research because I didn't want it to be ruined for me. But I did see, like, Some people were kind of like cutely hinting it might be Stu, but clearly it was not. So it was even more of a disappointment for me because I thought it was leaked, but it wasn't. And then I thought it was, but it wasn't. And then I inceptioned myself. And then I was just sad. And then all Kirby did was make me even more sad. That was her sole role in this movie.
Yeah. And you know what? She did a great job at making you sad.
Yeah, she sure did. Even though we can get married if she wants to. But so Scream 6 though, what's very interesting about Scream 6 is that it does the reverse of our cardinal rule here on Nightmare Network, which of course, as you know, is
confirm your kill.
Confirm your kill. Usually it's the victims who are not confirming their kill. 5 other people should have died in this movie. Like, the situations that come up, like, I forget her name in the movie, but Thaisa from Yellow Jackets, she is literally stabbed on this subway and is, like, left for dead. And I'm like, the killers are going to just... They've been, like, wrecking people this whole movie and with shotguns, and they're going to, like, leave this girl for dead. He gets stabbed. Cuba Gooding Jr. gets stabbed like 1,000,000 times. Kirby is supposedly dead too, and then all 3 of these characters come back. Why aren't these killers confirming their kills? This is unbelievable.
I agree. I hate that they don't confirm their kill, but also I think the thing that I dislike the most is that the amount of damage that a singular stab does in the movie is wildly inconsistent. Yep. Constantly. Somebody gets cut in the arm early on. It's the girl from Yellow Jackets, Jasmine Savoy, I think.
Yeah.
Who is incredible.
Yep.
As I said, one of my favorite new characters, if not my favorite new character, gets slashed in the arm and is like borderline useless for the rest of the scene. Meanwhile, Jenna Ortega's character gets stabbed in the kidney and then in the stomach and is fine. Like, absolutely okay for the rest of the movie, rest of that sequence.
Killian, have you ever been stabbed?
Yes.
Oh. Tell me more about this story before I continue my joke about how stabbing is fine as long as it's in the kidney because your organs can absorb the blow versus your arm, which, you move that a lot. You don't move your kidney, you move your arm, right? So, I'm sorry, you were stabbed?
Oh yeah, I've had a bunch of randoms. I've survived having my throat cut.
Okay, you're lying. I see. Got it.
No, I have a permanent scar underneath here.
Is that why you have a beard?
No, I just look better with a beard. But
okay,
no,
I'm sorry. I'm gonna need like all of the details on this that you can legally disclose on a podcast.
So when I was 6, I was playing Pirates with the neighbor kid down the street, and we were, instead of using like sticks or like fake swords, we were using broken curtain rods.
Jesus.
And one thing led to another, and my shoe came untied, and so I had mine under my neck, and I was tying my shoe, but mine was like painted gold. And he thought it was really cool, and he was like, "Can I see it?" And I was like, "Wait till I'm done tying my shoe." And he goes, "No," and grabs it and just yanks. And the end of mine was curled up into this like really sharp, jagged bit, and it cut from behind my ear all the way down to my Adam's apple.
Oh my God!
Like I bled all over the place.
Are you okay?
No, I'm a ghost.
I fucking knew it. That's insane.
Yeah, so that happened. I was shooting a short film when I was like 16 or 17 with my friend Gage, and he, in the span of 12 hours, stabbed me twice. He stabbed me in the stomach, like off to the side.
Okay.
That was definitely more of a flesh wound. And then he put the same knife the next morning through my pinky, and I still have a permanent scar on the side of my pinky. From where the knife just went all the way through the meat.
So when you're telling me that the stabbings the damage done by stab wounds in Scream is inconsistent. You are telling me as a professional with real life experience.
A professional stab victim.
Is that on your resume?
No.
You should put that. People put weird shit on their resumes all the time, man. And be like, oh, you know, I was a state champ and you know, like racquetball in 1994. You could be like, I was stabbed 3 times, so I know what the pain is like. Don't worry, I'll be fine with whatever you do here.
I mean, I did, one of the short films that we did a couple years ago, the fight choreographer had the person using like a kitchen knife and just like full stabbing in somebody's stomach really, really quickly. But in, out super quickly. And I was like, have you ever stabbed something before? And she was like, no. And I was like, I can tell. Because it's really hard to pull a knife back out once you get it into someone.
I am learning so many things about you.
So here's the easy thing. The way that I likened it to her is, have you ever carved a pumpkin?
I carved a pumpkin for the first time ever 2 years ago with Nicole. So I can safely say 1 time.
So you get that knife in the top of the pumpkin, right? And it's like really hard to pull out the first time.
Right.
Yeah. It's because when the knife goes in, it creates like a suction around the blade, like a vacuum. And so you have to like put your back into it. Oop, knocked my thing. You have to put your back into it to pull it out.
Ladies and gentlemen at home, he is giving me stabbing demonstrations so in depth that he's knocking his microphone around.
I talk with my hands.
I talk and murder with my hands, Michael. I can't listen. Wow. Okay.
Guns don't kill people. I kill people with guns.
Okay. We're gonna that. All right. Anyway, cool. So we know that you are a professional stab victim. We can log that away for future episodes. To get back on track and to finish it up here.
Sorry.
So we know where Scream is right now. Where do you hope / think that it will go in the future?
I have no idea. And it's like, if I'm going to be honest, I super don't know. A lot of me thinks that they should either hang it up and just let it be done.
Yep.
And I think that's the best thing to do. And then just do something that is like Scream. Or like where you know what I mean? Where you watch it and you're like, oh, they clearly enjoyed Scream.
Yeah.
Or I think that they need to let all the original characters go off and have their existences.
That little Paul Walker moment from Fast 7.
Sure, I never saw that movie.
He like drives off into the distance, and that's like they retire his character forever.
Yeah,
and he's like,
that's exactly. Give them that, and then if you really are determined to have this series continue, just have it all be the new characters. And then like you can do a thing where you do like every 4 movies you switch to a new set of characters, where it's like you do 4 movies and then their arc is done, and then some other yakadoo in another part of the country decides, I'm going to be Ghostface, and now we have a new group of people, and it's just like a series of copycat killers. Like,
yeah, I like that, because man, I gotta tell you, I am absolutely sick and tired of seeing Gale Weathers pop up on my screen. Like, it's like enough, dude. Even Sydney, it's like, yeah, we love Sydney. We love Nev Campbell. I don't need her here anymore. Let her have her life. Like, let Sydney have her life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot to keep these people going. It's like, it's hard for me to care about new people when you keep shoving Gale Weathers in my face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You look really concerned. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. I was just thinking. But yeah, no, I do agree. I think that it's time to like let Gale Weathers retire. They like clearly have made it. They've made the first Scream movie without Sidney Prescott, so it can be done.
Right. And I would argue it's one of the better ones. So here's the thing, because I agree with you, and I'm not even saying this facetiously. I think if they keep going, we will literally have an Avengers-type Scream movie. And I don't mean that as a joke or as a hyperbole. We are going to get characters from every freaking iteration of these movies. Like, they're going to say that Stu survived. They're going to say that Mickey survived. They're going to say that there was a third killer in Scream 3 and that he survived, or second killer in Scream 3 and he came back and survived. They're going to say that Jill is alive. They're going to bring back someone from everyone. It's going to be a weird, like, they're going to bring back the camera guy that definitely died from the first movie, that he ate Doritos a lot, so I really connected with him because I ate Doritos.
The one who got his head cut off?
Yeah, they're going to bring him back, and it's just, it's going to get out of control, and they're going to have to team up. So, there's going to be, we all got to work together, team up kind of thing to take down the Thanos Ghostface. That's what's going to happen, and I can definitely see it, and I don't want that.
No. I don't think anybody seriously wants that. And if hey, listener, if you're one of those people who heard what Mike just said and went, holy shit, that sounds incredible, I implore you to go outside and touch grass. Just
touch it, just a little bit. Just tickle it in the toes. So we're gonna end this one with a friendly reminder that there was some news that came out this week and that it does relate to this. Did you hear that The Pope's Exorcist got greenlit for a sequel?
I did.
They're gonna make this a Demon Avengers, and I'm so about it, except not at all.
I'm so mad.
Anyway, so thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in for this week's Franchise Frights for Screams, and don't forget, unlike the killers in Scream 6, what are we going to do?
Confirm your fucking kill.
Confirm your fucking kills. Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Season 3 of Nightmare Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep an eye on all of our socials for special announcements and videos. Remember, here at Nightmare Network, you share your scares.